Hi guys, this is your girl Eclectic Crystal, Intuitive Guide. And tonight I'm going to kind of finish out our soul contract series. This is part 3. And what we're going to be discussing tonight are the 5 different types of soul contracts. Many of us are just learning that soul contracts exist. Some of us were aware that soul contracts existed, but really had no understanding of what that meant. So tonight I kind of want to go a little deeper because there are 5 different types of soul contracts. And what you want to know is, can you even get out of the soul contracts? What are they really meant for? And hopefully you will find yourself in one of the contracts that I'm going to explain tonight. In my previous video, we had talked about forgiveness and how that kind of ties into our soul contract and what our purpose for being here or just existing is, what it's for, what your purpose is. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I kind of want to touch on is the first type of contract, which is a rocking the boat. So you'll see me looking down because I'm referring to some of my notes because this is a lot of information to cover. So the first soul contract is the rocking the boat soul contract. That soul contract is the person who doesn't want to seem different. That person that kind of goes along with what everybody else is doing so that they seem normal or so that they fit in. That's the person that doesn't want to rock the boat. They don't want to kind of step outside of what seems normal to society, and kind of just being independent and doing their own thing. That's the person who doesn't really like to break the rules, so to speak. And this is a very, very common soul contract that most of us go into an agreement with. The thing about this soul contract is when you release this soul contract from your life, things really kind of begin to open up. And with this particular soul contract, this is the person who seems to feel very stagnated, who feels like they can't be themselves, who, just give an example. Like if you've always wanted to write a book or you always wanted to own your own business, you kind of just don't because the idea is in place and that's what you feel in your spirit to do. But because of what you think people will think of you, you tend not to do that. And so what you got to understand is that if you ever want to reach your purpose or what your mission is, you have to be different. You're going to have to step out. You're going to have to not conform, because that's basically what that is. You sign a contract of conformity. And so how do you get out of that? You can't exactly just get out of it. What that type of soul contract is meant to do is show you that you need to be the type of person who doesn't mind being unique, who doesn't mind or doesn't really care what other people will think of you if you do something that you feel is okay to do or that resonates with your spirit or your soul. So the way that you would not necessarily cancel that contract, but the way that you would basically get through that contract is that you would come to a period in your awakening where you realize that you would have to step outside of the norm. You'd have to rock some boats. You wouldn't mind. You would be that person at a demonstration that wouldn't mind getting locked up. Whereas that's how you would be by the time you got to the point of your contract where you realize that that's the type of contract that you were in. The whole point is to become aware. The awareness of yourself, the awareness of your purpose, the awareness of what type of contract you're in and how you overcome that contract. So that's the most common one that we all sign into. The second contract is the soul contract of anxiety. Now, that's the people who worry all the time. That's the people who they know that on Friday they get paid, and by the time that paycheck reaches their hand, they've already spent it because they're worried about, am I going to be able to get this? Or I want to get this. Am I going to have the money? So by the time you get your paycheck is spent before you actually had it in your hand. Those are the people who create issues out of nothing. Like they worry about the most minimal type of thing. And so with that, I would say sometimes people who do that, like who worry a lot or who put those type of pressures on themselves, they seem to think that that's like a normal type of behavior, when in actuality it's not. And so what a lot of people do is, in those anxious type of contracts, they kind of feel like if I take on a lot of things, it'll either make me finish out the things that I keep taking on, but what you're doing is you're actually continuing to pile up things, and those things are causing you to worry and become anxious. That's causing some of us to have to take anxiety pills because we become very overwhelmed. And so you got to be careful with those type of soul contracts. If you are that type of person, then what you want to become aware of are the things that you begin to take on, the things that cause you worry, that may be the most minimal little thing. Like some people get worried if the mailman didn't come on time. Like that's ridiculous. Or sometimes people get worried, like if you have an appointment and you're supposed to be there at a certain time, if you even 2 minutes late, they feel like it's over, it's a wrap. Like with that particular type of soul contract, it's to show you that you should take things as they come, live in the moment. Because here's the thing, living in that type of contract, you are never aware. And you can't be aware of what's happening, excuse me guys, you can't be aware of the things that are happening around you, the things that are going on around you, because you're so worried about one particular thing or several different things at the same time. I have seen people, I have gone out and I have seen people, and you can tell that they have a lot of things on their mind. I have seen people step out in the street because they're thinking about something and didn't even realize that there were cars still coming, or that the light wasn't green. They didn't have the okay to walk. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you have to be in the moment. Being in the moment allows you to hear spirit. It allows you to see spirit. It allows you to focus. It allows you to be in touch with who you are, where you are in the present moment. Okay? So understand that and be very careful with that anxiety, because anxiety there's an opposite to that, because you can become depressed from being so anxious because you have taken on so many different things, or you just become a worrywart about the most minimal thing. Okay? So let's move on to the next one. So number 3 would be the soul contract of loneliness. Those would be the people who sign contracts. Let me see the best way to break that down. I wrote some little notes here. Let's see. Those are the people who sign into contracts where you experience a lot of dis-ease, not disease, but dis-ease, a lot of sadness. People break your heart all the time. You always run into friendships or relationships where you get betrayed, where you people just do things to hurt you or to make you feel hurt or feel guilt. Let me say that. And some people, they get into those kind of contracts because that negativity seems normal to them. Some of us, we grow up in environments that often may be dysfunctional, but in our adult self, we kind of incorporate that into our daily living because it seems like a normal thing, because that's what you were always used to. That's not, okay? And so, let's see. Those type of soul contracts prevent you from really finding your soul mate and not just your married soulmate, because you can have a soulmate that's a friend. It prevents you from doing that. It prevents you from even realizing what your purpose is, what your mission is. So, and you can't, I'm gonna say this again, you cannot just cancel out a soul contract. It doesn't work like that. The purpose of the soul contract is that you would eventually come to a point of awareness within yourself where you see these attributes about yourself and realize that's not okay. These different scenarios that we experience in our life is not because somebody is out to get you. I can't tell you how many times I have run into people. And have you ever been across that person that thinks everybody is out to get them? Like, you could be out somewhere with this person and you see a complete stranger, and the stranger might just happen to glance at that person, and the first thing out that person's mouth is, they must be trying to do something to me. Did they just say something? And you look at this person like, you done lost your damn mind. Like, what are you talking about? So you gotta be very careful and just understand that being aware of the things that you experience that you don't like, those things that don't feel good, those things that you don't like about yourself, actually those are the things that your soul contract is bringing to the forefront to show you about yourself so that you can make the necessary changes. Okay? The fourth soul contract is the soul contract of loyalty. And so that contract is the type of person who always stands by their friend. They stand by their man, their mate. They stand by their family. Even when they wrong, it's 25 left shoes. Like, they are always just right there. And no matter what, you can call them and they're going to be there. Like, even if they got other stuff planned and you call them, they don't want to feel like they're not loyal to you. They have a hard time saying no to things. So with that one, okay. So I'm sorry. So with this particular soul contract, when you're able to finally release that one, you'll be able to change certain relationships. You'll be able to, your discernment level will be way elevated. Like, you won't just do things just because somebody asks you to do it. You won't have a problem with telling somebody, no, I'm not able to do that, or I can't do that right now. Sometimes those people tend to get to a point where they feel very trapped, very suffocated. And I have to say, I find myself in all these contracts. And if you watching this video and you hearing this, or you do some research and you find these things and you say to yourself, I'm not any of that, you would absolutely be lying to yourself. There is no way that none of us have experienced one, two, or all of these contracts. Again, the point is to get to the awareness of yourself, get to the awareness of the things that you don't like. The universe will show you you. And I think I said this in one of my other videos. 9 times out of 10, most of the people that we hang around or that we have incorporated into our circle as friends, or in relationships, intimately, sexually, or whatever, they are a mirror of us. And I can almost guarantee we always find something in that person that either irritates the shit out of us, or you're like, that is not really working for me, but you deal with the person. But it's usually that thing that you find in the person that is either a turn off to you or you just don't like it. It's a portion of yourself. It's the other person showing you you. That's the universe's way of showing you yourself. Here's the thing. If you never ran into people who had attributes of yourself that you really don't like or you could stand to change, if the only thing that the universe could provide us to show us ourselves is just a mirror, how would you see the things that you don't like about yourself? Because you'd only be seeing yourself in the physical, like just literally looking at yourself. To see someone else in action, you often, and I can't even, if you sit here and say that you've been around your friends, your family, or whatever, and they do things and you don't say to yourself, that gets on my nerves. You can't honestly sit here and say that there has not been a time when you thought to yourself, do I do that? I wonder if I do that. Yes. That means that if you even question it, that means that somewhere you've noticed your own self, and that was that aware moment that you had. There are some of us who we just do stuff and it really doesn't matter. We never think about it twice. We don't think about if it's right, if it feels good, if it was wrong, if it was messed up. We don't think about that. We just do us. And so those people are very reckless. That's a reckless soul contract to even be in, because you are not forwarding yourself the opportunity to find out who you really are. Some of us don't even want to know who we are. We just kind of, there are those who operate off of the mundane. They get up, they eat breakfast, or they get up, they shower, they eat breakfast, they go to work, they come home, they pay rent, they pay their car note, they pay their mortgage, take care of their kids, and then they go to sleep. Like, that's it. There is no purpose. They don't seek one. So therefore, they're not even going to be concerned with, did they sign into a soul contract? That's very dangerous to be like that. The next soul contract, which is the last one, and if I mess this word up, forgive me, but I'm going to spell it for you. It's a soul contract of martyrdom, and that's martyrdom. Martyrdom. I think I'm saying that right. Anywho, do you find that it's a lot easier to say yes than it is to say no? Do you put your own needs or desires aside to help other people or even animals, even when it is really inconvenient to you? That's just like so me. And I can't even tell you, like, I have done that. And it wasn't that I didn't want to do it, but it was more so like I felt like it just wasn't appreciated. But even though that person, I felt that they didn't appreciate it, if they came and asked me to do something again, I was available. I would do it. You know what I mean? Excuse me. But where did that put me at? Where did that put my headspace at? Where did that put my heart at? And so, excuse me, y'all. I had salmon cakes earlier, and I don't know. Excuse me. But anyway, with those particular type of soul contracts, you probably also feel that being selfish is the worst type of insult that somebody could really say or tell you. And you probably most likely make decisions constructed to ensure that no one can ever apply that label to you. It's okay to be selfish. And I'm learning that about myself. As I dig deeper into my soul contracts and my Akashic records, I'm finding out I really didn't like the person that I had become. And I became how I became, kind of based off of how people treated me, things that other people were doing. And what I really didn't realize is I was doing it too. It might have just been a little more subtle. Like, the people that I was encountering that were being rude to me, I never really realized that there were times that I was being rude. And so I live on the East Coast, and anybody who lives on the East Coast, they just know that that's just kind of a way of being for some areas. DC is really bad about it. Like, they have this arrogance about them. And it's like you can't really say anything to them. And they, the way we come off is very sarcastic in every response. Even when we're being extremely funny or we're being really, really nice, it just comes off very sarcastic like. But you got to think to yourself, why would I sign a contract for that? Well, for me, I feel like I signed a contract for that so that I could become the type of person who was unconditionally loving in all areas. So you really have to sit back and take a look at your flaws, your faults, and redirect that energy into something positive. And so for me, yes, I was a very sarcastic person, and I still find myself that way. It's by nature. I don't really want to be like that. And I'll tell you, when I don't live on the East Coast, I'm not that way. It's when I come back to the East Coast that I just kind of fall right back into sync, because that's what people give you here. And so it's almost like if you are anything different than arrogant and sarcastic, they walk all over top of you. But what I'm starting to realize is that no matter what other people do, that's not what I want to be. And to do that is to follow suit. I'm following the suit of other people. And that's not what I want. I'm teaching myself that I want to love unconditionally. I don't want to harbor things in my heart of unforgiveness. I don't want to be mean to people. And so I want to exude love. I want my energy to be loving. I want my energy to be empowering. And so that is a part of me doing my self-mastery. Learning to master yourself will help with your soul contracts. You can't get out of them, but you can absolutely recognize where you are within your soul contract and do everything within your power to do the opposite. So if you were a womanizer, a manizer, I don't even know the word for it if a woman is using men or whatever, if that's something that you realize that you're unhappy with, there's a part of you in that is seeking something else, is what that is. You are filling a void. You signed a contract to do that. But understand that at the point that you realize, I don't want to do that anymore, that is where your work begins. You got a lot of work to do within your soul contracts. That's why you have them, because it's supposed to be working on yourself. Oftentimes we like to look at what other people aren't doing or what they should be doing, when in actuality you're looking at yourself and you're telling yourself what you shouldn't be doing, what you need to be doing. But it verbalizes that you are expressing that about somebody else. Anything, you know that saying, when you point one finger at another person, you point four more back at yourself. That's the same thing. I mean, technically. And how does this play into forgiveness? I did say we were going to touch a little bit back on that forgiveness piece. That touches back into forgiveness because we blame ourselves for a lot of things. Often people say things to us that make us feel guilty, and then we start to build up walls, and we start to build these walls up around our heart, and it causes us to not be able to forgive. But to live in an existence of unforgiveness, you would always be stuck within the soul contract that you signed, that was meant to show you how to be better than what you signed a contract for. I hope that made sense to you. So the forgiveness piece is very important, and it's really not for the other person. It's more so for yourself. It's learning to forgive yourself for, I don't want to say participating, but for incorporating those things, learning to change those things about yourself, learning to do something different, something better, learning to transmute that negative energy or transmute that part of yourself that you don't like, transmute it into what you do like about yourself. That's the most important thing. And understand that within your soul contracts, what we fail to realize is that a lot of the things that we experience turns into a physical manifestation. And I'm not speaking from something that I read. I'm speaking from something that I experienced. And you guys have heard me share this in a previous video. And I think in my next video, I'm going to post pictures or do like a little slideshow where I show you guys when I was in my wheelchair. I was 100% wheelchair bound. I was not walking. And it was because I'm a person that can hold a grudge. If you do something to me, it's a wrap. And I'm a Capricorn. And so I'm the type of person where, and if you're a Capricorn, you know what I mean. Like, if you do something to me, it's over. Once I cut you off, there is no coming back. I'm good. And I might not even want to speak to you. I can be cordial, but then I might not want to. But I realized that all the years of doing that manifested into a physical thing. And it caused me to be immobile. It caused me to always, even though I still was doing things for other people, because I'm the type of person where I do whatever you ask me, if I'm able to do it, if it's within my means, I'll do it. But even in spite of me still being available to other people, I had collected all of that energy. I had collected all of that hurt. And I collected all of that betrayal, and it formulated into something physical. And I'm sorry, that's a real thing. When you hear right now, the human race is covered in all kinds of different diseases, like strokes, heart attacks, cancer, AIDS. Like, there isn't anything that's not affecting the human race from a physical standpoint. It's like everybody has something, whether it's diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, whatever it is. But understand that all of those different illnesses, they're not literal illnesses. They're manifestations of things that we aren't dealing with within ourselves, that's in our soul contract. Whatever part of your body is ailing, that's the part that you need to work on. So if you're a person who suffers from heart attacks, you definitely have issues with forgiveness. If you're the person who deals with issues of the stomach, your sacral chakra is blocked. You understand? Like, that's just an example of what I'm saying. There are people who have bronchitis, who have throat cancer, that throat chakra. That means that your body is responding, and your body is telling you what areas, what chakras, what energy portals you need to be working on. But we don't look at it that way because we're not taught that way. It would take you to really research and listen. And one problem we have is we don't like to listen. And especially if it doesn't sound that interesting, if it's not something with some killing in it or some gossip in it or some world star hip hop stuff, we don't want to hear it. This knowledge we don't want to listen to. Because here's the thing, and I can't say this enough. If you are willing to go buy you a Michael Kors purse, some Jordan shoes, or a whole Gucci outfit, or Chanel it out, if you can spend that $300, $600, and I done seen people spend almost $1,200 on tennis shoes. Dudes, I mean, they good for it. I haven't met a female yet that would do that, but I know they exist. If you could do that, then why the hell you can't invest in yourself to improve and be a better you? Why can't you invest and improve yourself so that you can fix that soul contract that you don't like that you're in? The thing is that we get into situations and experiences and we don't like them. And we either don't know how to get out of them or we just walk away from it. You never actually change it. You never actually fix it. You just walk away from it. And then guess what happens? The very next person that you meet or come in contact with, you just pick up where you left off from with the last person. Honestly, even though it starts out new. Now, hear what I'm saying. This is an example. You was just with Sally. Y'all broke up. Y'all couldn't get along. It was abusive or whatever. So then you meet Susie. You and Sally broke up, but you meet Susie. Or either you dipped out on Sally and you started cheating with Susie. And then you decide, I'm going to leave Sally and I'm going on over here to Susie. In the beginning, it's all good. Like, you treat Susie like you did treat Sally when y'all first met. You're very nice, very loving, very understanding. And then the real you comes out. That's that soul. That's that part of that soul contract that you were supposed to be working on. That you eventually, when you by yourself in the bathroom or when you in your bedroom at night and the lights are shut off, that's that part of yourself that you cry and you say, I don't like that person. But nobody else knows that that's what you do. Nobody knows that you go and cry to yourself. Nobody knows that you have talks with yourself and you say, I don't really like that part about me, but I got to do it because I don't want my dudes to think that I'm soft. I don't want them to think that my lady punking me. Really? When you get to that point, it is right there that you have a choice. Even though you sign a soul contract, you do have a choice. You have a choice to do something different or just play the soul contract out, and you're going to keep doing it. A lot of the things that we experience right here in this realm you bought it from another incarnation because you didn't fix that soul contract in that lifetime. That's what a lot of us don't understand. And I realized that in my Akashic records that a lot of what I'm experiencing now is stuff that I brought with me from my previous life. I got to fix that because I don't want to keep doing this. And what you have to understand is what you don't fix while you're here, you're going to come back and you're going to fix it, or you just want to keep doing it until you fix it. That's the whole that's the whole point. Like if you don't fix it, you will come back until you fix it. So you have to make a decision within yourself to say, do I really want to keep doing this? Or either you like it. And guess what? Nobody's mad at you if you like it. But here's what I am going to say. Don't say that you're awake or that you're conscious when you still going out here doing some of the stuff. Some of y'all walking around here right now saying that y'all conscious and you awake, and you'll go to the store, grocery store, and put 2 cases of water under your cart and don't tell the cashier. And if she don't catch it, you don't say nothing. That's not being very awake. It's some of y'all out here that's saying that y'all awake and y'all conscious, but you'll put on something that you'll put on them little shorts that got your whole butt cheeks hanging out. Like they look like underwear. That's not conscious. It's a lot of y'all here saying that y'all awake and y'all conscious, but you live in the hood on Section 8 and you riding around in a Bentley. I've seen it. So don't sit here and think like nobody's doing that, because they are. Like your refrigerator has no food. Your rent is not paid. And it's not because you don't have the money. It's because you would rather go and give Polo or Tommy Hilfiger or Gucci your money so you can look nice and drive swell, but you almost don't have a place to live. And you already on subsidized housing. That's not being awake, and that surely ain't conscious. And guess what? Many of us, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear that truth because that's just being too damn real. I'm sorry. A lot of us, we on food stamps. We awake though. We on food stamps, but you selling them, which means you don't need them. That's not being awake, and that's not being conscious. But we don't want to hear that, and it's okay. You don't have to hear it. But there is somebody that wants to hear that, and they want to change that about themselves. There's some of us who have gotten in these situations and you don't even know how. Like you almost just woke up and slipped into a situation and you didn't even realize how did I get here. But understanding wherever you are, that's where you're supposed to be, because that's what you signed up for. All the people that have come into your life that you have had a connection with, you were supposed to, because the both of your souls sat together and decided that you were going to have that experience. It's within that experience that you find yourself. You find your purpose. You find out your destiny. All you got to do is look. But you have to want that. Nobody can make you do that. Nobody can force that on you. I can't even make you believe that you actually signed a soul contract. I can't. But understand that if you experiencing the same things more than once or a whole bunch of times, running away from it is not going to change it. The only thing you're doing is leaving where you came from, because everywhere you go, you take yourself with you. And I think a lot of people think that, oh, I'll just leave. You get into these situations, y'all be having 13, 14 different girlfriends and boyfriends, and then you realize that shit that hit the fan and it just got too hot and it's overwhelming and I gotta go. The best way for me to get out of all of these 13, 14 relationships is just go somewhere else. But all you do is go somewhere else and do the same thing. You go get you 2 more girlfriends or boyfriends. You go sleep with somebody's husband. It's no different. It's the same thing. But guess what? I mentioned this in my last video about negative soul contracts. We do have some of those because we want to experience the negative thing. Not because we want to be negative, but because we want to see what that experience feels like. And then you want to see, what would I do with that? What am I going to do? Because guess what? We don't have to agree to do anything. In a soul contract, when you see the scenario or the situation present itself, you have the choice to either walk away from it, or you can do something different than what you did the last time that you had that same experience with a different person or a different situation. So this video tonight, I'm not going to draw it out. I did do it kind of late. My schedule is all over the place. But I do thank you guys for your support. I do really thank you guys for listening and sharing my videos. The only thing that I do, you guys, is I just seek to empower, especially my sisters. I love you guys. And the one thing is that nobody is going to love you the way that you would love yourself. And the only way that you can ever get to a point of real and true self-love is you got to really dig deeper. You got to go within. You're going to have to, if you want to be better than you used to be, if you want to do something different with yourself than you've ever done before, invest in yourself. That's the best way that I can put it. It's okay to not walk around looking like everybody else, because guess what? That's how you evolve. When you don't want to be like everybody else, when you don't want to act like everybody else, when you don't do what everybody else does, you're the trendsetter. You're the one who doesn't mind being set apart. You're the one who doesn't mind looking crazy or weird. You're dressed in 1,000 different colors or what have you. You don't mind that. And that is where you find your real peace at. When you can get to a point where you don't care what other people think about you, what other people will say about you, excuse me, you have really dug really deep within yourself to understand yourself and to like you. It's not about whether other people like you or love you. It's about, do you even like or love yourself? And many of us don't, because we don't know who we are. And the reason we don't know who we are is because we haven't even taken the time out to understand, what is all of this for? We just keep going with the mundane and just moving and grooving, just doing what seems to be the norm. Get up, take a shit, eat breakfast, go to work, come back, go to bed, go to the grocery store, whatever you do. I mean, that's what becomes normal to us. And normal is just not going to get it, honestly. And I know that I had spoken before about the karma and what happens with our children, with the karmas that we leave behind that we don't fix. That bad karma. There's good karma and there's bad karma. And that bad karma, you don't want to leave that behind, because that starts to become a part of that generational curse. Even with your debt, like, you don't want to leave here and leave that debt, because just because you're gone or you have ascended from this place, when you leave, your debt attaches itself to your kids. So just think about all the other scenarios that you might have left behind unfinished, that you didn't fix, or those things that within yourself that you didn't master, or you didn't get a chance to work on within your soul contract. You're going to leave that stuff behind for your kids. And I'm going to tell you, I don't want my kids to experience the stuff that I experienced. I don't. And so it's very important for me to really dig deeper within myself and find out about the soul contracts that I signed and make it right. Make it right for me. Make it right for me, because I want to ascend into my goddess self. I want to ascend into my God self. I don't want to do this human experience. That's not even my purpose. I know that that's not my purpose. And I knew when I came here, I knew when I became very aware of myself that I had a purpose, and it was something that I was supposed to be doing. I knew that getting up every day, going to work, going to school, that was not all that this existence was for. I realized that. Some of us never get to that point. But if you're at this video, then you have realized that there are some very real things that you want to change, you want to fix, you want to understand about yourself. There's some very real things that you want to change. You don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And it's okay. You're not the only one. So I just want you guys to understand that the things that I talk about are my personal experiences, my family. Some things I'll share. They may not necessarily want me to talk about it, but for me, it's a real thing. And I feel like this. There's always somebody else that's experiencing the same thing, if not worse than you. And if you got out, if you overcame it, if you got it together, tell somebody else so they can do the same thing. Because that's the problem now. We have that crab in a barrel syndrome, and we don't want to see each other elevate. We don't want to see that. We don't want to evolve together. We just want to, we have that mentality where I'm going to evolve. I don't know what you're going to do, but I know that I'm going to evolve. Help everybody to evolve, because then we won't keep having the fighting and the bickering between one another. We don't even know how to love. I honestly, I don't know if I've ever met anybody that I could say that really and truly just loved, and they knew what the actual meaning of love was, because for everybody love means something different. For some people love means buying things, for some people love means having sex, for some people love means looking good, having stuff, material things. A lot of people find love in materialism. You would be surprised. Like, to them, if they dress, they got a big fancy house and they got a nice fabulous car, that's love to them. And that's not love, unfortunately. Unfortunately, do you even really know what love is? I might need to do a video on that, honestly. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I would just thank you guys for watching tonight. I'm going to come back with another video, which will be our last and final video on the soul contract series. It'll be part 4. And so I'm going to put that out in the next couple of days. But I hope you guys will like, share, and subscribe. I thank you so much for your support. And if you want to check me out on Facebook, I'm Witchworks, WYTCHWURKS, Witchworks. I also have a page, Eclectic Crystal Intuitive Guide, on Facebook. And you can reach me also at my website, eclectickrystals.com. That's crystals with an S.com. You can go there, check out some of my products. I'm still adding. The website is still under construction because I have a lot of things, a lot of products that I'm putting on the site and on my Facebook page, Eclectic Crystals Intuitive Guide. So just bear with me, and hopefully I'll have everything up by the end of the month, because there's a lot, and there's a lot of things that I do homemade. There's a lot of things that I make. So it's going to take me some time to get every single thing up on the site. However, if you call, you can call me at 202-232-5000. If there's some specific things that you want that you don't actually see on my site or my page, just call us and we'll do our very best to get it if we don't already have it. But 9 times out of 10, we probably will have just about everything that you want. I have crystals, I have herbs, I have candles, I have chakra candles, I have tapestries. I also I'm starting actually a protection, I don't want to say clothing line, but I want to say it's like a protection line. So basically what that means is I have shoes and shirts that have protection sigils on them. And so that's very important. A lot of people don't even realize that having protection sigils on your shoes wherever you go, it automatically protects your aura and your energy field. Having shirts and things with the protection sigils on it, it just protects you, period. So some of us don't always want to walk around with crystals and things like that, but just know that you can still be protected because I provide those on clothing. So that will be available soon. You should be seeing that on the website within the next week or two. I'm actually working on a few pieces right now that is just about ready to go on the website. So again, thank you guys, and I'll see you in a couple of days. This is your girl, Eclectic Crystal Intuitive Guide. Peace.